Hey there, it's Kimberly here with Never Brains, and we got books, and this is an oldie but a goodie, meaning it's out, it's been out, and it's a bestseller. So stay tuned. So my friends over at Search Press said, you know what? We know that you're trying to get rid of some yarn. I don't know who told them that. Probably the Brit. And rather than sending you yarn, because they have books, they deal in books, we're going to send you some books. And then you can try to get rid of your yarn stash with some of the patterns. Thank you. Problem, solution. There you go. So a year of Granny Squares has been out. It came out in April of 2024. So it's been out a little bit while. It's by Kylie Moleta. But I thought, oh wow. Granny, like we love granny squares, right? They're so easy. They're great to use for scraps, or you just like a little bit of yarn, not enough to really make much of anything. But what are you gonna do? Sometimes we want to make a bunch of granny squares, kind of have them sitting off to the side, and then wait for them to inspire us, turning them into something I don't know. But so what a great! I mean, you could literally just pop this book open, find a square. You could go. I'm gonna do one square a week for 52 weeks. And here you go, everything that you need in here. So here it talks about your skill level. So this has 2 yarn balls, and I'm sure at some point we're going to get into something more complicated. There's 2 yarn balls. So when we see more, we'll just keep, there's a 3 yarn ball. So here's one called a spring kite. I love that. Look, a little bit of a pinwheel going on. Oh, and this is interesting. And then in the corner, it shows you how you can mix and match this pattern with something else that is already in the book. Brilliant. Love that. Here it talks about the magic loop, so you know how I love my chart. It's got a chart right here on the page. Especially when it comes to granny squares, I think I'm really partial to charts because you can just look at it, you can see the pattern. So sometimes this may not make as much sense, but when you see how the pattern repeats, it becomes a lot easier. Here's First Bloom. I love that. I love with the flowers that kind of do a little offset in the middle. This one here is called Rose Hip. Gorgeous. Again, skill level of a 2. So here, she has them all marked off. So here's your combinations. Combine these granny squares together. So that is the Rose Hip with the Spring Kite. Page 6 and 10. Oh, with the filigree lace, which is on page 16. So they recommend mixing the filigree lace, which we haven't seen the pattern yet, and then this Rose Hip. That's beautiful. That is such a pretty combination. And this is Aguiliga. Aguilija pattern. Okay, here we go. So here's filigree lace. You know, I love doing some filigree lace. You know, I learned that when we were in England from that really nice lady with the filigree lace on the ships, cabin lace. I haven't finished that one, and I haven't actually done any filigree like that ever since then. This one, however, uses an 8-ply of cotton and a crochet hook number 6, 4 millimeters. So we're talking is a little bit bigger. This is a little bit more doable, definitely not as daunting. Sweet Violet, Tulip Bowl. That's really sweet and pretty, and that's just a little bit of a cluster. That is probably like a puff stitch is what I'm going to call that. Love that. Oh, that's gorgeous. Flower Field. You know, the Brit was asking me the other day, he goes, so when you do these book reviews, do you look at the book ahead of time? I was like, no, actually. I kind of want to be surprised as much as you. And if I don't like it, and if it doesn't seem to make any sense to me, that's my first reaction. So what you see, that's my first reaction. And I think that's more genuine, more organic, more real. That's it. Skill level of a level 2. Polyanthus, that's pretty. Now she's using a lot of, I can tell 100% cotton, DK yarn. So she's not actually calling out a specific brand, just an 8-ply light worsted. So your sheepies, your, your Lion Brand, Baby Ganix, you could use for that. Pretty much anything you get that's 100% cotton with a little bit, I mean, you could do acrylic, of course. But that's what's giving you that really nice little bit of a sheen happening there. Okay, and here she talks again about the mix and match. So you can mix the yantra with the tulip bowl. That's very simple. But see how those colors are going to pop with that tulip bowl. Wonderful. This is a skill level of a 1. That's easy. one ball of yarn, people. Come on. Blossoming Fields, this is a skill level of 2, probably because we've got those little puff stitches going on in there. You can mix it with this French Garden. Oh, I need more weeks in my years. I need more days in my weeks. I need more months in my years. I need more time. I don't have enough time. Golden Halo, that's beautiful. All right, I gotta push through these. Sunset Skies, that's really cool. That's interesting. Oh, and look at how you can make a really pretty interesting combination just depending on how you build the squares. Midsummer, beautiful. Sunflower Days, love that. With a little bit of the kind of the chevron or the scalloped going on the edges. Helenium, that's pretty. I always love when it's like a little bit of a 3D flower going on there. So nice. That's a 2. That's a 2. We can do this. We can all do these. Dutch Windmill. Love that. A little bit of a pinwheel going on. Oh, look at the colors, how they're popping. Oh my gosh. I just want to crochet and knit. I just want to do that all day long. It's a good thing I don't really do much of anything else. I work a little bit, but not much. Beacon, that's cool. Oh, and you can mix and match that with the Jewel Garden, which is on page 54. What a great book. I love the colors. I love the charts. I love so here it gives you the skill levels and the symbols and abbreviations, gives you the tools, what to use. I love how they're giving you like a mix and match. Like this one here, they're telling you to mix and match with this Daylight, which is very similar to the Solar Flare. But it looks like you're going to have some puffs going on in there and just a little bit of a different tone of a yarn. So you got the lighter yellow and then the darker yellow, so they're kind of popping. Floating Bloom, very pretty. And this book has been out for a while, so some of you might already be familiar with this book. And if you are, please comment and let me know. Have you done these patterns, what you think of them? The Jewel Garden, this book's been out about a year and a half, I think. But you can't really go wrong. I mean, it's just a great book to have in your arsenal, to have in your toolbox, you know. Tequila Sunrise, beautiful. Daylight, so that's the one that they recommend combining it with the other yellow from before. Got your little puff stitches going around the edges, a couple different colors of cotton, changing leaves, beautiful autumn colors happening here. Love that. Of course, you could make that any color you want. You could do red, white, and blues. You could do rainbows. You could do pinks and summer colors, or springs, or black and white, or grays, or I mean, you could just do unlimited. And then this one here, it goes with the hedgerow berries. That's on page 84. Fall Wreath, that's pretty. That actually would go very nicely with this one. I'm just doing my own mix and match. Kind of like Garanimals, but it's Crochanimals, right? Crochet Animals. Sparks, also lovely for fall. This one here, she mixes with the Flying North. Yeah, and I love that she's using the cotton because it really kind of highlights what that yarn is going to look like with that sheen. It's going to be, it's not going to be like soft like the acrylic. It's probably going to be a little bit heavier because it is 100% cotton. So it's going to have the kind of like that weighted blanket feel. I love, almost like a quilting feel, a little bit different than the acrylic, but I love using cotton. I wonder, I got some really nice 100% cotton. I think it's Pima. I think I have a lot of Pima cotton, and that would be beautiful with this. Berries, that's an easy one. Now, y'all, I know you can do that. That's easy. That's like a popcorn stitch. It's a bobble stitch, but yeah, that's beautiful. Flying North, we saw that one earlier. That's just a like a front post or drop down double crochet. Bonfire, interesting. I like that. Kind of has a retro feel happening there. Aloe Vera Swirl. Love those earthy tones, earth tone girls. And you mix and match that with a fall wreath. Lotus Pod, which you mix that with the hedgerows on page 80, which is boom right there. Wow, and you can mix that again with the Flying North. So once again, you can make these. Oh, this one just jumped out at me. The Monarch, look at those puff stitches. Those are beautiful. You can do this in a bunch of different colors, but the texture of those flowers popping out, gorgeous. Hedgerow berries. Corpus. So yeah, I could see myself doing one of these a week. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah. I just have to have the right yarn. And then maybe, you know, and then by the end of the year, I mean, you could even do it all in the same color scheme. And then by the end of the year, you're going to have 52 squares that you can all put together and make this amazing menagerie. Now this one here has 3 yarn balls. It's probably the complexity because you get a little bit of a different shape going on here, kind of almost a hexagon. And then you're just doing some increases and decreases along the sides to then square that off. But it's doable. I've done that before. If I can do it, you can do it for sure. Crystal Beauty. Oh, look at that snowflake. Isn't that gorgeous? Wow. All right. Frosty Night. Yes, that's got a little bit of a puff. I guess it's the same kind of yarn going on. It looks like it's almost like a puffy, fluffy white, but I think it's just the same. It's just the look of the stitch. Reflections. That's easy. That's an easy stitch. Ice Flow. So none of these look terribly complicated to me. But what I think is really unique is the way she's mixing and matching the different patterns and highlighting the different stitch structures, the colors, the falling snow. So, I mean, all of these would go together. All of these would be just wonderful. Now here, she even has them broken up into the seasons. So we started out, and I apologize, I'm just now recognizing this. So I'm going to go back for just a second because, again, this is me walking through this for the first time. So she has the blocks broken up into seasons. This first one is kind of a pale color. We're bringing in the blocks of spring. So you're going to have a lot of probably those spring flowers, those spring colors. Then we are dropping into the blocks of summer. So we're going to have the brighter jewel tones. Spring is more of a pastel colored scheme. And then with the summer, we got more of those bright poppy colors happening here, which you can totally see. Then we're jumping into the fall. And of course, we did recognize that with all the fall colors. And now we're jumping into the winters. I love how this is really structured. Love this. Gorgeous. Again, now we're still into those blues and cooler colors with the blocks of winter. Semicircle, that's the last one. That's almost like a summer solstice, you know, summer and winter solstice. You got the summer and the winter, kind of the contrast there. And then here they've even got some patterns if you just are not quite ready to just venture out there on your own. Here's your first bloom blanket and shows you the squares that you can use and put them all together. Look at how gorgeous that is. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about the cotton. You can see the weight of the yarn in this particular pattern. It looks a little bit more heritage, more vintage, more kind of like your grandma's sort of a quilt. You can definitely see that we're using 100% cotton here. And I love it with those pops of color with the summer blooms. Just beautiful. And here's a smaller project. So if you just like don't want to do a blanket, then do a bag, floating bloom bag. Lovely. That's sometimes like a weekend to a week project for me. Hedgerow berry shawl. Oh, this is interesting. I like how we're tying in not just blankets. You know what, friends? Oh, look at that. Does that look crochet to me? No. You know what, friends? Crochet. It's not just your grandmother's sport anymore. It's not just for blankets. Granny squares, it's not just for blankets. Look at this. Pillows. So this one here is a granny squares on the front, and then this has the stuff on the back. I really, really appreciate the application that the author has come up with. And then here in the back, we've got your materials, all of your notions, things that you need, and then all of your stitches, you know, starting from the beginning to the end. I did not look to see if this book was written in US or UK terms. Well, isn't that fancy? All right, guys, check this out. So at the very, very back of the book, under the index where it has crochet terminology, fold out the flap and keep it unfolded as you work if you need to convert from US to UK terminology. This book is written in US terminology. But if you are familiar with the UK, then you got this whole thing happening right here. And so what you would do is you go through your book and you got your pattern here, and then you got your terminology over here. Now this is something I've never seen before, and I like it. Great idea. Great addition here. Thank you so much for doing that. You can even, I mean, if you wanted to, you could fold it in. That's your bookmark. But I would just keep it told out to the side, and whichever pattern you're working with, it's just right there. Brilliant. Not just a hat rack, people. Not just a hat rack. All right. This could be my favorite part of this book. Not because I don't like the patterns. The patterns look amazing to me, but that is really brilliant. Because how many times do you look at a book and you're like, where was that page that had the UK terminology? Or you end up scribbling in your book because you're trying to write all the patterns to remember what's what. You don't have to do that. You just pop it out and you flip to your page and you are good to go. Fabulous. All right. Well, I'm so glad that I was introduced to this book. Even though it's about 1.5 years old, it was released in April of 2024. So it's been out for a little while. So it should be available on Amazon, all of your online yarn stores, but you know where I'm going to put it, and you know where it's going to be found, and that is going to be on my bookshop.org website, and it's going to be in my bookshelf. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to include all the information below. You go to bookshop.org. I've got my own bookshelf, so you don't even have to go and look and say, what was that book that Kimberly really liked? Did she really like this one? If I don't like it, it's not on my bookshelf. So if it's on my bookshelf, you can tell, you'll know that I found the book, I vetted it, and I totally enjoy it. And this one, I'm going to really enjoy. A year of Granny Squares. Thank you so much, Search Press, and thank you, Kylie Moleta. What a fabulous book. Great workhorse book. I think this is going to be for me. If you just joined us, I'm so glad you're here. I'm Kimberly, and this is Knit for Brains, and we do all kinds of things like this: tutorials, book reviews, Project Welcome Home. We do whips. We have fun. So follow us here on YouTube. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And also follow us on Instagram as well. It's just Knit for Brains. And that way you can see if we have any promotions, giveaways, anything like that coming down the pipe. Thanks so much for watching. This is Kimberly with Knit for Brains. And as always, I'll see you soon.